Hey, good morning, everybody. How's everybody doing out here at Libby's Corner? Man, it's getting close to the end of this month, and I sure am glad that, let's see, February, March, April. That's only, I'm hoping early April, man, I'll be able to go and get my license again, man. I'm just, I'm so glad. I've got to retake the test again like a little kid. I've had to take, I've lived in 3 different states. I've lived in Wyoming. Man, I really loved Wyoming. Wyoming, when I got to live in Wyoming with my mom for just a short period of time before she moved from Hereford, Texas, up in the Panhandle, up by Amarillo. And then she moved to Wyoming, and then she moved to Louisiana. I really wish she would have stayed in Wyoming, man. Louisiana is just, I call it Louisiana. I'm sorry, I ain't hating on Louisiana, but I mean, maybe you can take the Texan out of Texas, but you can't take the Texas out of the Texan, and especially living up in the beautiful, pretty mountains that I lived in. I mean, we lived up there in Worland, to where we could just travel maybe an hour and we were already hitting into the mountains, man. And I loved Wyoming. I loved when it snowed year-round. I remember when the class of, I think it was the class of, whatever class it was, man, they had the class of, and I didn't go to school at that time. I was already out of school, but the class of was in the park, and it was carved out of ice, and it stayed there all winter long. It never melted. And the kids knew everybody. Everybody knew everybody in that town, and I guess another reason why I had a lot of good times in Wyoming is because, if you're a Texan, you got that Texas twang like we do here in Texas. You go up there to Worland, Wyoming, man, and they don't even say y'all. They say you guys. Hey, you guys coming? I'm like, y'all coming? They go, y'all! They'd make fun of me. All the other guys would just make fun of me, but I'm telling you, the women loved it. They wanted to come and talk to me just to hear me talk. They loved that. And so I had a lot of good times in Wyoming, let me tell you. But anyway, I'm babbling on, and this is a vlog, and that's what we do. We babble out here at Libby's Corner. But I wanted to tell y'all about a time. It's took me a long time to talk my wife into letting me share this with you. And it also, I felt kind of leery about sharing this with you because, that was back in the day, and me and the wife were doing a lot of crazy and wild things, and me more so than her. But let me make this clear, man. The brown bombshell was always on me with my addiction. I mean, she was a good girl. She was always a good girl. I love that girl. I mean, if it wasn't for her, I don't think I would have ever made it through the nightmare and the trails that I took her down and the roads that I took her down. I mean, she fought me all the way. And that said, she always made sure that I kept a steady job, and well, I don't think she ever had to worry about me keeping a job. I always had a job, and that money off of that 9-to-5 job or subcontracting or whatever it was, I mean, she was always on point with her hand out wanting that money. And then any kind of side jobs or anything, that was my money, and yeah, I blew it. I just blew it. And I really wish I wouldn't throw all the way that money, babe. But you live and you learn. But anyway, I wanted to tell y'all about a time to where I went without a license for years. It's been 10 years since I had a license. And, but I went without a license off and on. And then this past 10 years, man, I didn't get a license. I guess maybe it's because I was going back and forth between Louisiana and Texas and for the last 10 years. And, take that back. I think I had a Louisiana license once. It was a motorcyclist license. Yeah, so I did have one down there. So maybe it's been less than 10 years. In Texas, it's been more than 10 years. And so I got to retake the test. But anyway, I want to tell you another a time. I think it was I had like a bunch of warrants, and it was Warrant Forgiveness Month. It's where they advertise it out there that we'll forgive your warrants. And so that was the hardest thing I had to do, was go turn myself in. And I turned myself in thinking I was going to get forgiveness. And I had, come to find out, I had 27 tickets. 27 to, it might have been 32. I can't remember. Those numbers are kind of running through my mind. Maybe it was 32. That's a lot of tickets. I just get them and just throw them in the glove box and forget about them, you know. And never carried an ID on me, because if you go in there, it used to, if you went in there to Texas, and I would just get scared. I don't know if it was that way, but it used to be if you went in there to get a license and you had warrants, they were going to take your butt to jail after you got your license. after you went in there and got an ID or whatever, you know. I never did do that. I heard a lot about it. It never happened to me, but so I just, I listened to what happened to other people. But anyway, I turned myself in, and they said, you know, this is Warrant Forgiveness Month. Warrant! They said that. Warrant. Not Warrants Forgiveness Month. It's Warrant Forgiveness Month. So, they said, no. You're going to have to stay in the can over here. You know, you're gonna get locked up for a little while. And I said, oh my gosh. They said, not to worry. This is Tarrant County. This is a county jail. You got so many tickets in the Tarrant County Jail that you have to spend time here with. And they said, you know, the jailer was trying to help me, man. He was digging up the paperwork and looking on the computer, and he said if you if you'll fill out all this paperwork, he handed me a stack of papers like this thick and told me to go fill them out and send it to each jail, or I mean each city. Ask each city, tell them you're in Tarrant County, and you will get, you'll run all your tickets right here in this county, right here in the county jail. And I said, awesome. But he said, on the downside, you're not going to get out of here for about 3 months. Man, I tell you, my heart fell out of my chest. That's the longest that I'd ever stayed. It was scary. I don't want to, I will be here for 3 hours and tell you all the crap that I went through there. But one of the things that I wanted to share with you right now was, I think it was after a couple of 2-3 days being in there, my wife, she sent me some pictures in the mail, and, one of them was a laminated, and somebody told me, hey man, you got lucky, because they're not supposed to give you laminated pictures in jail, because they can put two pictures together, and I guess they could send in microdot ass. I don't know. They just didn't approve of that. So I got lucky on that one. And it was a picture. It was when my wife used to work as an exotic dancer back in the day. I didn't meet her I didn't meet her there. I actually encouraged her to go there, you know. It backfired when we started having kids, because I had to stay at home, and I'd get home in the afternoons. I didn't get to go do no side work or nothing like that. I had to come straight home after work, and then she would start getting ready and go to work. And so I had to start taking care of kids every day, and babies, you know. I think my kids were 5 years apart, so I had babies, you know, at the house. And so, you know, you have to sit. No longer can you poke the wife and tell her to get up and feed the kids in the middle, and I had to do all that. So yeah, I dug my own grave there. But anyway, she sent me a picture, and it was taken up at the club, and I'd always leave it propped up on my nightstand, and or whatever you want to call it, your toilet. Your toilet is your nightstand, your sink, everything. I mean, I forget where I had it propped up. I think I had it propped up on, they do give you a little desk in there. Maybe that's what it was propped up on, with all my, you know, apples and stuff. And at the time, I think that because I turned myself in, I was going to be locked down for a good while. My wife, you know, she went and, you know, I couldn't pay the rent, and no one could watch the kids. And so we decided to let her move to Louisiana. I guess we didn't decide. She had no choice. She went and lived with my mom at her house for till I got out, and that's one reason why I stayed in Louisiana for a little while, because when I got out, I went over there. But anyway, yeah, this is a long story, but not really. It's coming. This big old guy come in there, man, and he had a shaved head. He had tattoos all over him. He had Brotherhood right here tattooed, right over underneath his neck. I think he was. I found out later on. I didn't know what the Aryan Brotherhood was about, but yeah. Anyway, he came in there. And he said, he didn't say nothing. He just came in there and says, "What's up, bro?" And he was a huge guy. I mean, he was swole, man. I mean, I'm short and stocky, and I can handle my own, but I was scared. I mean, my knees were knocking together. They wasn't. I tried not to show fear. But he walked over to get my apple, and he started chewing on my apple. And he says, "So, what's up, man? Is this, that, and other? You get commissary, dude?" And I go, "Yeah, I get commissary." He says, "Well, I'm telling you what, punk. If you don't make sure you take care of me, if you take care of me, I'll take care of you in here." And I'm like, "Really, dude?" He goes, "Yeah, really." And he put his nose right up next to mine and says, "Really?" And his breath stunk. And he stunk. I mean, the whole jail stunk like ass. You know what I'm saying? People don't take baths in there or anything. It smells like you're living in a pile of socks. You know, a pile of dirty underwear, you know? But anyway, I got on the phone and I made a collect call to my wife with my mom, and I'm knocking my knees together, and I'm grabbing for strands, you know, because, you know, I asked her to send me some commissary, and she says, "Well, I can't send you none." I'm like, "Oh my gosh." I said, "Baby, you gotta send me money. Talk to mom. And so I waited a little while and called her back a couple of days later, and that dude started putting more pressure on me. "Well, you better find some money." You know, he was just being all in my face and scaring the crap out of me. I'm a grown man for the first time in my life, and it's like that dude had a lot of friends too, and they were all giving me the evil eye and stuff, you know. Anyway, one time, I think I had one time a guy came in, and he, you know, he was a black guy, and we got to talking. He was in a different cell. He was in the same block but different cell. And he came over there. We got to know each other because I've always liked visiting with black people. You know what I'm saying? I wasn't really. It was just one of them things. And he said, "Who's that picture of right there?" And I said, "That's my wife." And he goes, "That's your wife? She's so beautiful." I said, "Yeah." He says, "Can I see it?" I said, "Yeah, let me, you know. With my battery's supposed to be charging already. I hope it don't go off. Dadgummit." Anyway, he put down the picture, and then I think a couple of days later, it might have been a day later, this big old tall black guy come in my cell and says, "Say, man, what's up?" I said, "Yeah." He says, "That's your wife over there?" I said, "Yeah." She says, "She looks like she got some color up in her." I said, "Yeah, she does. She's half black." He goes, "Yeah, that guy that's been messing with you in this cell over here, I seen him walking in about 4 days ago, man. What's happening? You have some problems with that dude or something?" I said, "Yeah, man. He's wanting me to pay him commissary, and I don't have it, dude." He goes, my brother, because you married to a soul sister, I'm gonna take care of you." And I tell you what, man, they took that. There was more brothers in there than there were Aryan Brotherhood. The Aryan Brotherhood had to stick together because there was a lot of black people in jail. So I got saved by the glory. Oh, I got saved by the glory for having a half black wife, man. I got my pass. You know what I'm saying? My hall pass with that one. But here's a funny one, man. And this is why I was hesitant about telling you this story, because I like to tell the whole story. I don't like to leave nothing out. Couple of times later, brother came by and he says, "Say, man," he says, "I'll give you 2 soups. You let me borrow that picture." I said, "That's a picture of my wife, bro." He goes, "Man, it ain't hurting nothing." He said, "You done told me your girl your girl works at the club, dog. Come on, dog. You know? And he says, Ma, and they use that N-word between the two of them, and he slapped me on my back, and he even called me one of his own. You know, I ain't gonna say the word on here because people don't like that word. My wife had to get me out of saying it for years because I was just that way. I always liked going across the other sides of the track when I was growing up. I hung around with a lot of the black people in the world. I don't know why, I just like the way they talk. My brother. So anyway, my wife was making me money in jail. I was getting paid. They'd borrow her picture and they'd take it off in the shower because it was laminated. And I told my wife about it because she was scared for me. She couldn't send me no money. She couldn't talk no sense into my mom. My mama said, he made that bad. He lies in it. Let him do it. Let him go through it. They're not going to kill him. And I said, yeah, they are going to kill me. Are you kidding? These guys are big. They're huge. They stink. Oh, God, I was scared. But yeah, after that, man, it was on point, man. I mean, I had a lot of black people in there come and want to give me 2 soups. And after a while, it went up to 2 soups and a pastry. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, I was blessed on that one. But I'll tell you one thing, man. That saved my butt. I thought y'all might like that story, man. I'll let the bombshell come out and tell y'all more about the experiences she had in that club and how all the girls, and I'm saying like 75% of the girls in there were whores. They were dope whores. They did drugs, you know, and my wife was always the good one that always, it was a double-edged sword, her working there, you know what I'm saying? Because she was always honest. She would tell them, yeah, I got a wife, and I got a husband and 2 kids at the house, and every other girl in there was lying through their teeth. I'm going to take you home tonight. I'm going to take you home tonight. I'm going to, you know, and they would always be waiting outside the door for those girls to leave, and they would get you know, the bouncer would walk them to their car, and they would actually get in the car and haul butt, and after that, they were on their own. But I guess I can keep going, man. What made me feel good, most of all, about her working there was sometimes I would, you know, I could have her sister watch the kids or something like that on a day or something. And I would go in there and get in free because the owner of the bar, he says, let me tell you something, man. You can come in here free of charge anytime you want. But as soon as you start that jealousy crap, man, you're out of here and I ain't going to let you come back around because I ain't playing that crap. I mean, there's lots of men that can't handle what their wives do or girlfriends do in here and it just causes problems. So, but what made me feel the most wonderful feeling was all those guys going in there and they would tip my wife, and sometimes he had to calm me down because we were, you know, I would go up there to her and want to get tipped, you know, and she would hand me some money, you know, she would come down and sit with me for a little while, and no one, you know, I didn't tell anybody that was my wife or nothing, but she would hand me some money, you know, where everybody else didn't see. She'd just go up there and start tipping me. I said, really? You want me to tip you? I said, I want to tip some of the other girls in here. I done seen all that. I want to see something I hadn't seen. And she says, no, just trust me. Tip me. So I got up there and I started tipping her. And she started doing things for me that she wasn't really too much comfortable doing for the other fellas. And so I started like, woo! Yeah! Woo! Boy, I was raising hell and making some noise. And it would get everybody's attention, so I'd have a line about going behind me. We did that for about, I'd say a week straight, and finally the boss man, the owner of the club, came up there and he says, man, you're tag teaming. I go, what do you mean tag teaming? I ain't taking nothing off. I ain't showing nothing. He goes, no, but he says, I see the game y'all got going, and all the other girls are starting to complain. You're taking the money out of their pockets. So we had to knock that crap down. We had to quit it. But I could just go on and on with all the good times that I did have. What made me feel most special is what I was trying to tell you, is out of all the guys in there that wanted so desperately bad to take my wife home, that had all these wild things in their head, you know. Like I said, she didn't make that much money because she was honest with them. All the other girls would tell her you know, they'd lie to them and tell them all kinds of crap in her. And I said, baby, won't you do the same thing? She says, because I'm not about that. I'm being completely honest with these guys. I have my regulars that come in. They're married. They just want to get entertained. Somebody to talk to half the time. Some of them are 80-year-old men that just are lonely and they want to sit down and talk. They don't want to do nothing but talk. You know, they're lonely. I said, okay. But what made me feel good is at the end of the night, she went home with me. And sometimes I'd come in there looking all scroungy and stuff. And I remember one time I was working on the car and stuff. And I came in there to pick her up. And I had all grease all over me and stuff. And she came home and told me, she says, you know, she says, these guys really try hard. And I go, why? She said, because you know how you came in here the other night, we had grease all over you and stuff, and you know, I'd show up like 30 minutes early before closing time, so I'd get to walk around, you know, a little bit, get my eyes full. And I said, yeah, I remember. And she said, this guy come up here, he's been a regular for me, you know, he knows I have a husband and stuff. But he came up here with grease all over him, and I could see how he must have got under the hood of his car, because you could see that how he purposely robbed his face with. It looked like he finger painted his face. I said, you got to be kidding me. She says, nope. She thought he thought that he was just trying to, you know, be accustomed to me. He was trying to make me, you know, do something for me, you know. He was trying to lure me in. Thought I was into them nasty, skanky, greasy looking men. So he thought he was going to come up there with all this ripped shirt and grease all over him. But I had a lot of good times. But I can tell you this, man, out of all the years that she worked there, whenever them babies got old enough, and I think it was my daughter, she says, Mom, where you going to work at? And Mom was all dressed up and ready. She looked at me, and I looked at her, and I said, I don't know what to tell her, honey. She said, I got this. She looked down at my daughter and she says, Mama's not going nowhere. Mama's not working. Mama's not working no more. Mama quit. My wife walked into the, it's kind of teary, man, because she walked up into the bedroom and got her house robe on, and we put on a movie, and we watched movies. And from that moment on, my wife laid that down. She laid that part of her life down, because you know, when it's getting old enough for the babies to start asking them questions, because kids aren't stupid, you know, and she knew it. She never went back. And you know, when you're a exotic dancer like that for years, and you don't prepare yourself for the future, like college or anything else, or some kind of trade or anything like that, you know, they promise the girls out there the world. They go to them clubs to go to work. They tell them, oh yeah, you can make all this money, and they just paint this glorified picture of them. But they don't tell them after at the end of the rope, when they start getting a little older and less attractive, because you know, beauty is beauty belongs to the youth in a lot of men's eyes. To me, my wife's just as beautiful now as she is when I first met her when she was 17 years old. But Those were the good old days, and they lasted for a little minute, man. I mean, we waited 6 years before we had a kid, so it was a good, I'm saying maybe 10, let's see, 10, maybe 10, 11 years, between 10 and 15 years she went in there, and she did that. So there it is, man. That's the little piece of my life, man, and I just thought I'd share that with you, man. I've been wanting to share that with you for a while now, but my wife's like, man, they'll tear me up on your channel, don't do that. And I'm like, honey, it's okay. We're just us. And who cares if there's somebody out there that's always going to say something bad about everything I say. I mean, not everything I say. There's always going to be a troll out there that's going to try to make you feel bad. And what you got to do is you just got to be yourself. And that's what I try to tell her. You just got to be yourself on here. You know, yeah, we're getting on to 20-minute video, man. This has been a while since I made a long video like this, huh? But it just took a while for us to get comfortable, and you know, I've been a YouTuber now for about for the whole first year I was a YouTuber, I didn't have nobody. I had crickets, man. I started for one reason, you know, and it's because of Pete, and I'm very grateful that I got the chance to go over there and do that, and we'll just cut it off right there and just take the good with it and take what I got out of it. But so it's just been a learning process for us, you know what I'm saying? My son, he's real skeptical of getting on here because, you know, he's not ready for YouTube. He is so insecure as it is. He's so scared to go up and ask a girl for a date because he's so scared of being rejected. And I know how he feels because through my whole childhood in school, I was the smallest one in the whole school. I must have weighed like 65 pounds all the way up until I, you know, got to, I think, ninth grade, and then I quit. But I got picked on a lot, and I was always scared to go up and ask a girl for a date or just to get to know them or ask. I didn't know the first thing about it. I mean, I met my wife on a blind date. Anyway, yeah, my phone's beeping at me, so I gotta cut this one off. It's fixing to shut it down because it's the battery's fixing to go dead. But there's a little piece of Limpy's life here at Limpy's Corner, and I can't wait to get this old truck going, man. I mean, with a license with me, you know, it's running now. I just can't wait to get my license and get to be able to breathe, you know, and it's gonna happen around April. Hopefully hopefully sometime between March, I'm hoping, but, you know, at the latest April, you know, early April. So anyway, see you for now. And y'all be good, man. And one more thing to everybody out there, man. If y'all have some problems with that demon on your back, you need to get that demon away from you, because it's going to kill you sooner or later. Or it might kill you. You got to kill the demon before it kills you. That's what I meant to say. You got to kill the demon that's inside you or living inside you or on your back or whatever you want to call it. You got to get that demon out of there before it hurts you. Anyway, Limpster out, y'all. Y'all be good till next time. Bye-bye.